Now, he's a successful entertainer, actor, music star, youth influencer, and veteran political activist with a wee touch of the maverick about him, a fighter for change who's remained consistently dramatic and controversial. Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa, popularly known as Charlie Boy, is a voice that for decades has been calling for positive change in Nigeria, addressing social reform through his art and his politically charged utterances. From the 1980s to the present, he's been urging young people to get political and use their growing demographic strength to transform Nigerian society. And judging by the EndSARS protests a couple of years ago and the youth-driven efforts to get more young people registered to vote in 2023, it seems that they may have started to heed his call and those of many others like him in Nigeria. Well, who better to put all of that in proper perspective but Charlie Boy himself, who I'm delighted to say joins me now from Lagos. Great to see you, Charlie Boy. Thank you very much indeed for coming on the program. It's good to see you again. Let me start by asking you how you assess the march of the youth in Nigeria, because they've gone from being a rabble of spontaneous sort of EndSARS protesters to the point where they seem to be a better organized, growing political force who seem determined to defend their values through the ballot box. You've always urged the youth to use their power to make change. Is that how you wanted them to do it?
Yeah. Charles, you know that I've always maintained that the salvation of this contraption that we call Nigeria lies in the hands of his exceptional youth. There was never any time I was under the illusion that is an all-comers affair, that all the youths are going to all come together at the same time. No, it won't happen. And this is how I break it down for a lot of people. I say, if we are a country of 200 million, we know that the people who have their legs on our neck and are suffocating and frustrating us cannot be up to 0.02% of the population. And I also know for a fact that this exceptional youth that I keep talking about, in whose hand the salvation of this country lies, they're not going to be even up to 0.001%, But I am happy that there is a fever. There is a revolution of the mind that is going on, that is happening right now. Because quite frankly, enough is enough. Everybody is sick and tired. And you don't need to be too knowledgeable to know that it's from the same playbook that our leaders have been doing all the shenanigans they've been doing, It's from the same playbook. And for the past 60 years, they've been doing the same thing over and over again. But, like I've always said, I've always maintained, the salvation of this contraption that we call Nigeria lies in the hands of his exceptional youth. So I am indeed happy that actually it's happening in my lifetime, to see this change that is brewing. As we go along before the end of this year, I know that it will be something that will make me, if I'm alive to see it, make me really, really proud. So my effort may not have been in vain after all, Charles.
Well, let's develop that point that you're making there, because the question I want to ask you is, given what you've just said, what political direction do you see Nigeria taking with the presidential elections in 2023?
You know, what happened in Osun was like a test for everybody. Even though I was in the village burying two of my cousins, I just came back yesterday, and today one of our great colleagues in the industry, Ada Ame, died also. She used to be on the Charlie Boy show. But any opportunity to talk to young people, you know, I'll jump on it. What I saw in Osun was not about any political party. Charles, you know, I don't believe in APC or PDP. I feel they all one and the same. You know, they all one and the same. But what happened in Osun, like I said, because the guy who is on ground, the governor that is, for 4 years, he has done little or nothing for his people, for that state, because I can also start to figure out and see that it wasn't about party politics. It was about the individual, okay? I also heard that a lot of people, where money was being distributed as usual, but guess what? A lot more people were rejecting that money this time around. So it's giving me some kind of hope. We may not be all there, but it's giving me some kind of hope that for once, it's about that individual that we're voting on. We're not voting on party lines, okay? 2, that people are even in this hunger because they weaponized hunger, they weaponized terror. That in all of this mess, that there are people who are still saying, you can keep your money because I want to vote my conscience. You know, I don't know how to say it again to you, Charles, but to say that I'm glad with the little changes that I'm seeing, and I can almost feel where all of this is headed to.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot there, because we're going to have analysis of the breakdown of the voting patterns and so on in Osun State with our analysts later in the program. But I mean, the question that is being asked is, where was the youth vote actually in Osun State? I mean, did we see a visible presence of the youth there in terms of them helping to make the difference in that election?
First of all, I wasn't on ground, so all I know about what transpired there was just secondhand infos I got from the people I spoke to, because I was very interested in what was happening there. Now, I hear the turnout was great. There was no violence because there were no ballot boxes to snatch, and you know, the violence there was minimal of that. Yeah, the turnout was great, and the person who finally won, who was robbed of it the last time, was who was supposed to win. Now, if you're asking me, if your question is hinting to they now call it the obedient people who may have come fifth, very distant fifth or sixth, well, we all know that the time was too short for the campaign, and the person that was fielded in that election was not that strong, if you ask me. But I'm happy for the fact that that election was peaceful, and the people who were used to rigging had no chance to rig, because you know why? The youths made sure that they stayed till their vote was counted, and they saw it, and they were happy before they left the election spot. Okay, so for that for me is some measure of improvement. So, and that's why I say, well, as minimal as what happened in Osho, I'm quite happy we can now take it to the next level.
Well, you mentioned Peter Obi there, and you mentioned the Labour Party, actually. A lot of people, particularly activists like yourself, see Peter Obi as a sort of agent provocateur who's driving the youth towards the ballot box. I mean, do you share the sentiment of some that the salvation of this country lies in the hands of Peter Obi or some other presidential candidate?
It does not lie in the hands of Peter Obi. It does not lie in PDP or APC. No, those in my own book, those are ruled out. APC or PDP. Okay. Peter Obi is a phenomenon, as far as I'm concerned, coming at the right time with the right message. What is playing out, as far as I know and I'm concerned also, is beyond Peter Obi. He just happens to be one of the candidates. He just happens to be one of the people who are not singing the old tunes that we know, who is coming with a brand new message. So the timing is right, if you ask me. But it's way and above Peter Obi. Okay? And that is why I keep guiding the youths. Everybody knows what's good. Everybody knows what's bad. People know what will benefit them and the things that don't benefit them. Okay? For a long time, this is the most divisive government we've ever had in our lives. That has broken us up in fragments. That have used religion, ethnicity, and terror to get us confused, feeling helpless and traumatized. I think for once, the youths are getting hip to that game. And they are saying, no, it's not going to be like this. So it's not going to be like this come 2023, because I'm expecting the youths to make a bold statement come next year. And I believe that they will. Because like I will always say, the salvation of this country lies in the hands of its exceptional youth. But Charles, I tell you this much. There are serious, grave consequences down the line. Because we've left this to teeter for so long. Our docility, our inaction, and I'd like to use this opportunity to say, I am really sorry, to apologize to the youth, because it is people of my generation who saw the red flags and did nothing. It's people of my generation who now inculcated in this youth, my teeth is better than your teeth. As long as my person is in government, well, hey, he's all right. It's my generation that did all of that. I'm sorry, but like I keep telling young people too, if we were bequeathed something bad, it's left for you because it's your future. It's left for you to see how you fight to change it. And that is why I say that what is happening now, this revolution that is going on right now, as we speak, comes with a heavy price. The price that these young people need to pay for our docility over the years. Yes, some people will say, okay, but Charles, you tried now, you did what you could. I don't believe that I did enough. I don't believe that some of my colleagues did enough. I think we let the youths down. For this, I'm apologizing. But I know if it depends on the youths that I've seen so far, that have been privileged as an artist and as a person to meet in my life, yes, I believe that there will come a time that this whole thing will turn around, because we can't keep having evil permeate the system like it has for the past 8 years. It's just so totally wrong.
Okay, well, I mean, it's very interesting as always listening to you, Charlie Boy. But let's finish. We've got about a minute or so. Let's finish with your personal reflection, which you touched on briefly at the outset, but your personal reflection of where you think Nigeria is heading as we look ahead to 2023. What are you optimistic about, and what are you fearful of?
I'm optimistic about the few young people who have taken it upon themselves to be at the table where their future is being discussed, who have taken it upon themselves that they need to change this ever-ending story of injustice, frustration, hopelessness. They need to change it. There's nobody who can do it except the young people. I may look good, I may look youthful, but I'm no longer a spring chicken, and I'm aware of that. Okay? I don't have the strength like I used to have 20 years ago, and I'm aware of that. What am I afraid of? If things don't go our enemy's way, those ones who have their stranglehold and who have their knees on our neck for all these decades, if things don't go their way, because these are people who are bloodthirsty, these are barbarians from the 19th century. I'm talking about our enemies. But I've always maintained that I don't see how barbarians from the 19th century can defeat youths of the new millennium. I don't see how, because they have the numbers, they have the know-how.
Well, we'll be watching.
These are my fears.
Right.
What if things don't go their way? What are they going to do? Evoke a state of emergency?
Well, we'll have to watch and see what happens. I want to thank you very much indeed, Charlie Boy, for joining us. He's, of course, a successful entertainer, youth influencer, and veteran political activist, and he was talking to me there from Lagos.